Jnana Trimandasya Ganangana Salakaya Chasusum Vichayena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Stapita Yena Bhutale Sayarupa Kadamayan Dadati Swamparantikam Vandeha Sri Guru Sritam Parakamalan Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sirupan Sakajatan Sahagana Raghunatha Vitantan Sajivan Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanan Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padasahagana Lalita Sri Visakavatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasita Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radha Vrindamanisware Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakapatarabhyascha Kripasvinibhevacha Patitanam Pavanvebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premapadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Siva Shari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ananda Lila Maya Vigraya, Himabada Vita Visundaraja Tasma Maha, Premarsa Pudaya, Chaitanya Chandriya Namana Master. Chaitanya Chandraya Namana Master. So I thank everyone for being here this evening, and also the audience on the Vrindavan TV. So everybody is welcome to the Bhagavad-Gita, our nightly discourse on the word of Lord Sri Krishna. So this nightly Gita, it has always been like a soothing balm for the devotees. I remember when this started about around 20 years ago, 21 years ago, when this was started by Parvati Mataji. So it was good. And it's been going on every day. So today we are continue the discourse on the three modes of material nature, three guna, the three modes of nature, how every living entity, the embodied living entity, because there are two types of living entities. There are those living entities who are considered to be liberated living entities. Those who are mukta, it's called mukta jiva, liberated living entities. And then there are conditioned living entity, bada jiva. So mukta jiva, they are not under the modes of nature. They are free from the modes, the mukta jiva. The bada jiva, they are the ones who are controlled by the three gunas. And all the bada jivas, the conditioned living entity, they're like puppets being under the puppet master. Just like everyone must be to the puppet shows before. Puppet shows is there. When you are a kid, when we were a kid, you go to puppet shows, and then the puppeteer is with the string is doing this, pulling the string, and then the way the puppeteer pull the string, that is the way the puppet will move. So similarly also, every living entity in this material world, they are puppets being pulled this way, that way by the modes of nature. Three gunas by the modes of nature. But under illusion, of course, every living entity is thinking that they are free, they have independence. And this is just illusion, just to keep living entities continuously being bound by the three modes of material nature. But there's no such a thing as independence, no. Independence only comes when one becomes free from the modes of nature. And Lord Krishna is telling here in this verse which we are reading today that those who are no longer under the control of these three modes of nature, then those kind of persons, they've attained the transcendence. They become transcendental to the modes of nature, and then Krishna said, they attain my nature. So we're going to read the text now, and then the purport, and then I will give some discourse on the purport. So we are reading chapter 14, text 19 of the Bhagavad-Gita. Nānyaṁ guṇebhyaḥ kartāraṁ yadā draṣṭānupaśyati guṇebhyaś param vetti mat-bhāvaṁ saha adhigacchati nānyaṁ guṇebhyaś not guṇebhyaḥ, anyam, others, guṇebhyaḥ, than the qualities, kartāraṁ, performer, yadā, when draṣṭā is here, anupaśyati, sees properly, guṇebhyaḥ, to the modes of nature, cha, and param, transcendence, vetti, knows, mad-bhāvaṁ, my spiritual nature, sa, he, adhigacchati, is promoted. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. When one properly sees that in all activities, no other performer is at work than three modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Purport. One can understand all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn this science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes. But when he can see his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of a spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. So, as I said earlier, that the two types of living entities, the one who is liberated, the mukta jiva, and the one who is conditioned, the baddha jiva. So the three modes of nature act differently. Just like Srila Prabhupada kept referring to this statement in the 7th chapter, where Lord Krishna says, what is that? Mam eva ye prapadyanti, maya evan tarantite, that for one who has surrendered to me, the person become free from the modes of nature. That person will not be subjected to the influence of material energy. Because material energy, she is represented by the three modes, by the three gunas. So every living entity, so every living entity is under the control of the three modes of material nature when they are in this material world. Okay, this is not properly done. Okay, Hare Krishna. This is not properly, it's falling. Okay, I hope it stays. So Lord Krishna is talking about that because in the previous verses, the Lord has been talking about the symptoms of different persons who are under the influence of the modes of nature, the three gunas, like those who are in the mode of goodness, those who are in the mode of passion, raja, and those who are in the mode of ignorance, and satagun. And prior to this verse, which I read today, so yesterday's verse, we said that udam gachanti satwa star, madhi tishtanti hajasaha, then jaganya guna britishta ado gajanti tamasa. So basically it said that those who are in the mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets, they go to the heavenly planet. Those who are in the mode of goodness. So because that's why the demigods, they are predominantly in the mode of goodness, sattvagun. And those who are in the mode of passion, they remain usually human beings, and they remain on the middle planet, Madhya star. This is the middle planet. They remain here. Those who are in the mode of passion, and then Ado gajanti tamasaha, that the bottom, Ada means bottom, so those who are in the mode of passion, ignorance, tamagun, they go to the bottom, the lower planets, earliest planets, or the lower species of life, animal species, lower species of life. So basically, those who are in the lower modes. Now, so of those three, which the Lord has described, then he say, nānyaṁ means those other ones who are not influenced by these modes, then they attain my nature. They attain my nature. They said, of course, when the Lord said my nature, does not mean that they won't become one with Krishna. Of course, the Mayavadi, when they interpret this particular verse, just like I was reading one particular translation today by one Madhusudana Saraswati, it's Mayavadi. So this particular verse is translated as, I think by nature means one become one with the Supreme, one merge with the Supreme Lord. That when one becomes free from the modes of nature, then one attain the Supreme, one attain oneness with God. But that's simply a Mayavadi translation. But when one attain the nature, it means that one attain devotional service to the Lord. One attain prem bhakti. And in the other verse, the Lord said, "Manchayo vabhicharina bhakti-yoga sevate saguna samatityātam brahmabhuyakāpate." So, for one who is free from the modes, then they engage in devotional service unto the Lord. So that is attaining the Lord's nature, not that one become one with the Supreme. Now, in the word of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan on this text, whereby he mentioned that when the jiva says that the action which is performed by this body, this action is only actually performed by the three gunas, that the living entity himself really have nothing to do with it. So many actions is being performed, but who is the actor? Who is the actor? Is the soul that is the actor, the kartāraṁ. Kartāram is the performer of the action. So who is actually the actor? So if one thing that yes is the person that is dwelling within the body is the actor, then one is under illusion, which means one is subject to be bound. But a seer person, a draṣṭā, somebody who is a seer, see that the living entity, the spirit soul, really have nothing to do with the activities of the material body. These activities, they are actually being done by the three modes of material nature, the three gunas. And of course, material energy is pulling the string, and so the bodies, all the different bodily organs, the senses, the mind. This is all the functions of the three modes of material nature. The jiva himself really have nothing to do with it. So, which means the more one knows this, that yes, actually the jiva really have nothing to do with the functions, of this material body and the interaction with the material world, then such a person can be liberated. Such a person can be transcendental to the modes. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan says that having spoken of birth in the material realm, according to classification of the gunas, the Lord now speaks of liberation from the gunas by distinguishing the real self from the gunas. So the Lord is making a difference between the self and the actual self and the gunas, these three modes of material nature. So when the jiva see things as they are, it is called draṣṭā, does not see any doer other than the guna. So the jiva sees himself as being isolated, but the doer things are simply the gunas, the three modes of material nature, which transform into the body and senses. When he sees only the gunas as the agents of action and knows the Atma is a non-doer, superior to the gunas, he attains freedom from samsara, which means he attains the freedom from this material world. If a person sees that, yes, the jiva really have nothing to do with all the activities of this material world. So he said that the pure jiva, who is filled with knowledge, like the Lord says here, guṇebhyaś param vetti, by knowing, is filled with knowledge and bliss, is not the agent of actions, filled with sorrow such as fighting, sacrifice. When he sees that, he is endowed with body and senses, made of the gunas, and thus understands that the doership of those actions is fixed in the gunas, not in the pure Atma, because the motive for action is in the three gunas. He attains freedom from samsara, or he attains my supreme bhakti. So, mad-bhāvaṁ, the Lord said, guṇebhyaś param vetti mad-bhāvaṁ sa dhigacchati. So that person attains my nature, attains my supreme nature, which is bhakti, fixed to me. So, the whole concept of the three gunas is actually quite deep. It's very, very complex science. So, and the Lord, he explains this not just in the Bhagavad-Gita, also when he was talking with Uddhava, just prior to the Lord leaving the planet, the Lord actually explained to Uddhava the same subject, which he had already explained to Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. The same topic was again explained to Uddhava, but in a much more elaborate. So this is what we call Uddhava-Gita. So in the Uddhava-Gita, Lord Krishna explained Bhagavad-Gita again, but in a much more elaborate manner. Why we say elaborate? Because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he was speaking to Arjuna, because the Lord was trying to encourage Arjuna to fight, because Arjuna, he declined to perform his duty as a Kshatriya. So the Lord had to explain to him, give him the philosophy of life, that he has to perform his action. His duty is to be a Kshatriya, he must fight. So therefore the Lord explained Bhagavad-Gita, and that only took place within a time period of only not more than 45 minutes, not more than that. But when the Lord was talking to Uddhava, the Lord had all the time. There was no battlefield. The Lord was resting under a tree, and Uddhava came, pays obeisances, and then the Lord was talking to Uddhava. So the Lord basically explained the same thing to Uddhava, but in a much more elaborate way, in a much more comprehensive way, so that the self-realization can actually be easily attained. So the Lord was talking to Uddhava about the three modes of material nature, and about what is beyond this. So in the Uddhava-Gita, so the Lord talked to Uddhava. He said, Sane patas tvaham iti mameti Uddhava yamatihi vyavahara sane pato mano matrindriya subhihi. My dear Uddhava, all the combinations of the modes of nature manifest the mentality of I and mine, which is present in all conditioned souls. The ordinary transactions of this world, which are impelled by the mind, the objects of perception, the senses, and the vital within the body are also derived from the combination of the modes of material nature. So this, we can just start to understand this this concept, how the modes of material nature is working. Now, in the chapter 13 of the Bhagavad-Gita, when the Lord said, Karana Guna Sangwasya, Sadasa Yoni Jamasu, that because of the association with the material nature, so the living entity is taking birth in varieties of species of life, sad, asad, sometimes good and sometimes bad. This is due to the association with the modes of nature, because the soul, the jiva, has become lost in the material energy. So the jiva become lost in the material energy, so the jiva has to be caught up within the waves, within the wave of the ocean of materialistic existence. Just like Bhakti-yoga Thakur say, Miche Mayra Bose Yacho Bese Kachaba Baudubai. Miche said that the wave of materialistic, the wave of material ocean, and this material ocean is tossing the living entities, here and there, the wave. Just like if you go to the ocean and you find yourself in the middle of the ocean, in the sea, and if you don't know how to swim, the wave of the ocean will simply be tossing you, here and there, here and there, here and there. And if you don't know how to swim, so which means you'll be very miserable. You'll be miserable because you don't know how to swim. And that's why I mentioned that, yes, if you are caught up in the middle of the ocean, then the only way out is to secure a good ship, and a good captain who can, so that you are in that ship, and a good captain can steer the ship properly. The good captain can steer the ship properly. So that good captain is the guru, the spiritual master, who actually knows. He knows the ways of the material world. And he knows how to get out of the material world. So you're under the guidance of the spiritual master, of that bona fide guru, who is the seer of the truth. Tattva-dashi is the seer of the truth, and he can know how to properly maneuver that ocean, the ship within the ocean of the materialistic existence. The same thing is like Prabhupada is pointing out here in this purport that we are reading today, that the Lord Krishna, who is the supreme spiritual master, just like we said that Krishna Bande Jagat Guru, the Krishna Bande Jagat Guru. So Krishna is called Krishna Jagat Guru is the original spiritual master of the whole world. So therefore we pay our obeisance to him. But he has got his representatives, many gurus are there who actually represent Krishna, and they are giving the message. They are giving the message of Krishna has been explained here. So which means a bona fide spiritual master will simply say the same thing that Krishna is saying, like Krishna, whatever Krishna told Arjuna here, that yes, the way you can be free from the ocean of material existence is to take to my devotional service. Take to my devotional service, engage in bhakti-yoga, and then you can be free from the influence of the modes of material nature, and then you can attain freedom, and then you can come to me. Basically, that's what the Lord is telling Arjuna. So a bona fide spiritual master will repeat the same thing. Krishna says, Savadharma Pratyaja Mamikam Swanam Braja. So a bona fide spiritual master says, give up all endeavors, give up everything, just surrender unto Krishna. Whereas those who are unscrupulous, the so-called Jagat Guru, because you find many people who never even leave their village. They will call themselves Jagat Guru, correct? They say, I'm Jagat Guru, and then they're telling people that, you have to surrender to the impersonal Krishna. They don't even believe Krishna has a form, that Krishna has no form, or they will say that, okay, why we have to worship this? Because sometimes they also worship the deity. They say that God has no form, but because it is difficult to worship, it's difficult to attain formless objects, because ultimately God has no form. But in the beginning of one sadhana, one must make up a form to worship. So therefore, a particular form must be worshipped. Just like they have this Pancha-upāsaka, like whereby they worship Ganesh, they worship Vishnu, this I think five Pancha-upāsaka they call it. But the goal is that at the end, all this worship will no longer be necessary. Once you attain self-realization, this worship will no longer be needed, because you've merged yourself with the totality of Brahman. Totality of Brahman, which is formless Brahman, you've merged yourself. So which means this form would no longer be needed. So when Krishna said, surrender unto me, it means to surrender to that totality of Brahman that is there within Krishna. Anyway, they will give this twisted meaning of whatever the Lord said in the Gita. They will give the twisted meaning. And that's why Srila Prabhupada always say that it's really difficult to find a proper interpretation of the Bhagavad-Gita. While a real devotee of the Lord will not give a twisted meaning of the Bhagavad-Gita. So Srila Prabhupada gave Bhagavad-Gita as it is. When Krishna says something, Prabhupada simply repeated it. So this is what Krishna said. Krishna says, surrender unto me, become my devotee. And Krishna is a person, he's a God, he has got a form. He is Sachit Ananda Vigraha. And that's why, before Prabhupada came to the West, there are so many Bhagavad Gitas were there. But people were reading it, but not a single person became a devotee of Krishna. Because people are reading it, but they don't know what they are reading. They cannot figure it out. Many people are reading Bhagavad Gita in the West before Prabhupada came. But when Prabhupada came as a devotee of Krishna and he presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, what happened? Millions and millions of people became devotees all over the world because he presented the word of Krishna as it is. So a bona fide spiritual master will not twist the meaning of what the Lord is saying. So what the Lord said, that a person will become transcendental to the modes of nature, that person attain my nature, which means that person attain the prem bhakti, the loving devotional service unto me. So the Lord is saying, he said, Purusham Sattva Samyuktam Anumeya Chamadi Bihi Kamadi Bi Rajo Yuktam Krodha Dhyas Tamasa Yatam. So the Lord is saying that one who exhibits qualities such as sense control, self-control, is understood to be predominantly in the mode of goodness. Similarly, a passionate person is recognized by his lust, and one who in ignorance is recognized by qualities such as anger. So, and of course, so the Lord is differentiating between the mood of someone who's in the mode of goodness, Sattvagun, then Rajagun, and Tamagun. And of course, of all the modes, the mode of goodness is the best. Because the mode of goodness is symptomized by the fact that one's whole being, it's saturated with knowledge. one is not, there's very minimal passion. Because even, of course, one may be in the mode of goodness, which is conducive to God realization, but as long as one is still in this material world, some tinge of the mode of passion and ignorance may still be there. And that's why this mode of these three gunas, they've actually analyzed, they can be multiplied into up to 81. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. 27 times 3 equals 81. So there's a lot of intermingling, interaction of all the modes. But when one comes to the level of Vishuddha Sattva, which is the transcendental, which means the purified goodness, is the purified goodness, that is the stage by which one can actually become God realized. So the Lord said, Yadā bhajati mam bhaktiya nirapeksha swakarma bihi tan sattvam prakritim vidya purushan striyan evava. A man or woman who worship me with devotion, offering the results of his activities unto me without attachment, is to be known as in the mode of goodness. So the Lord is explaining of the person who is in the mode of who is worshiping him, but is worshiping him without any particular desire. Such a person is said to be in the mode of goodness. Now, another person may also be worshiping the Lord, but the person is worshiping the Lord with desire to achieve sense gratification. So such a person is in the mode of passion. Because everyone somehow they worship the Lord, that they are worshiping. Just like sometimes people may come here to Vrindavan, they will perform, they will do parikramas, or especially very famous here in Vrindavan, that people do Dandabat parikrama. That's very famous. Just like yesterday, it was raining. We even saw people, they were even doing Dandabat parikrama in the water, in the rain. It's actually doing, So which means they are very, very serious about the parikrama. However, if you ask the average person why they are doing it, they will hardly tell you the reason why they are doing it. See, whatever a devotee does, any austerity a devotee does, is meant for them to become more attached to the devotional service of the Lord. That's what. But whereas the number of people, they may do the same kind of austerity, the same thing, parikrama. They do it because they want something more, good job, good spouse, good health, longevity, things like that. Something to be given. So that kind of worship is actually rajagun. It's not really. It has nothing to do with devotional service. It's rajagun, And then the Lord mentioned here also that those who actually worship the Lord for the main purpose to cause harm to others. They worship so that they can, because they want some victory over their so-called enemy. So therefore they do worship. So those kind of persons, the Lord says they are in the tamagun, the mode of ignorance. So there are many illustrations which the Lord gave in terms of the various persons who are in a different modes. And then from the middle of this chapter on, in the section of the Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord started talking about those who are actually transcendental to the modes of material nature. What are their activities? Which basically means anyone who is rendering pure devotional service unto the Lord, they are performing all activities just for the purpose of giving pleasure to Krishna, giving pleasure to the Lord. Such persons, they are beyond the modes. Their activities is said to be in the purified modes of nature, purified mode. Vishuddha Sattva, totally beyond the material energy, totally beyond that. And in such person who can actually attain the kingdom of God. So the Lord said, mad-bhāvaṁ, dhigacchati, such person, they will attain my nature, they will come to me. So, Krishna consciousness, that is the aim of Krishna consciousness, how we can become free from the influence of the modes and our activities, to become beyond to not have nothing to do with the three gunas, with the three modes of material nature. Okay, so, because time is going. Hare Krishna, so any question? Question or comment? Were you able to understand me? Is it? Did you understand?
For me it is not very clear, but still I
try.
Yeah,
It is very complicated.
Okay. Well, the accent or what?
accent.
Accent. Okay. Well, what to do? Yeah.
Comment is there. Purport Srila Prabhupada writes very nicely.
Yeah, the comment is there. There are so many comments of the Bhagavad-Gita, so many commentaries.
Prabhupada purport is clearly written.
Yeah.
How one can transcend and what one should do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, most of material nature is very difficult and this and that. But it's not so difficult if somebody just follows Srila Prabhupada. Purports and they read purports. And later, next verse will be 14, 21. Krishna clearly says not to everybody.
Yeah, mancha vabchara, but you can say about it. Yeah, it looks simple.
One
But-
just follow the instruction of one of our spiritual master, then one will come out of this course of activity.
Yeah, only thing that our application of it is what makes it difficult. Our acceptance of it, our acceptance of what has been written, we are not ready to accept it. We have to rationalize. We rationalize,
One has to follow the instruction.
But
That's all.
what I'm saying is that instruction is there, but we don't accept. We have to rationalize why I have to do this,
There is lot of, like they say, knowledge is there in Bhagavad-Gita. Even if you don't know Bhagavad-Gita.
Yeah,
You have example of Lord Chaitanya pastime. Even
That-
if you don't know even word of Sanskrit.
that is
Even
there.
if you don't know how to read Bhagavad-Gita. But you got some instruction from your spiritual master. And you follow that. That's all.
Yeah, that is there.
You will come out of the course of
If you accept, if you are simple, as I said, simplicity,
question of rationalizing.
I'm saying, if you are simple, as they say, simplicity is Vaishnavism, if you are very simple in our dealings, we will accept without any questioning. But the point is that we are not simple. We hear something, we want to rationalize it. The Guru tells you to do something, you say, oh, maybe this is better. Guru say, bring me water, you say, maybe I should bring milk. Milk is better than water. The Guru said, bring me water, bring the water to the Guru. So our situation is that we are not ready to accept the simple things which are given to us. And that's why many of us, we've been doing this for many years still. We don't have taste. The taste is not developing. Why the taste is not developing? Because we are not ready to accept that simple thing which is being given to us. So,
The simplest thing that the Guru says, stand your system now attentively.
yeah, exactly.
Once not that thing, but thing will come, the other things will follow.
So therefore the question is, are you following it? Are you chanting attentively?
That's what I'm saying, that we should put all our efforts in chanting our 16 months.
Exactly. Yeah, if you do that, ultimately you will attain perfection. If you do that.
That's right.
So that's why, but our mind is always telling us something different. And say, oh, we have so many things in our mind. So therefore, that's why the Srila Raghunadas Goswami, he had that wonderful prayers, Mana Shiksha. It is giving a teaching to the mind. You know, there are 11 instructions which are given to the mind. That, my dear mind, you know, just think of your guru. Was the guru goste Gosala Yeshu Bushragane, that he was saying that, my dear mind, you know, just worship the spiritual master, worship the Vaishnavas, worship the Brajavas, you know, like giving so many instructions to the mind. And Srila Bhaktivedanta said that when we wake up in the morning, because our mind is so stubborn, when we wake up in the morning, we should beat the mind with the shoes 100 times. And before we go to sleep, again we should beat the mind with the shoes, because the mind is stubborn. The mind doesn't want to accept. Otherwise, we have been chanting for so long. How come we don't have taste for chanting? Why the tears is not coming from our eyes when we chant the names? So all these things we have to be asking ourselves. Krishna consciousness, the process works, it's there, but we are not ready to accept. We are not accepting because we are not simple enough. We are listening to our mind instead of listening to the instructions of the spiritual master. So that's the thing. So, huh?
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, it's good. You know. So, you wanted to say something? Want to say something?
I would say this, what Krishna has said, that those who know my nature, they easily cross over to the modes of material nature.
Yeah. No. Those, he said, those who surrender, Krishna said, those who surrender unto me, they will cross over the ocean of material existence. That's what Krishna. Huh? Huh?
How the devotee may come to know the nature of Lord Krishna?
From a spiritual,
Modes of material nature.
by hearing from a spiritual master, by having a competent guru, a sad guru, who will tell us.
And what are the more right? Is that act by hearing or by following the instruction of the spiritual master?
Yeah.
But what are those instructions actually?
What are those instructions?
Yes.
When you take initiation, you'll be given instruction from the spiritual master how to do that. Now, when you're taking initiation, your guru will give you a particular instruction, you know. Now, so it's up to you to act on those instructions. If you follow that instruction, then you will attain the perfection. You will cross over the ocean of material existence. Now, it doesn't mean that the instruction that you are given by your spiritual master is the same instruction that I am given by my spiritual master. Because we all have different spiritual masters. Even if we have the same guru, different disciples will be given different instructions. So it's up to a particular guru, a disciple, to follow the instruction accordingly. And normally, the guru will give instructions according to nature, according to nature of a disciple. The instructions is given accordingly, normally. So if we follow the order of the guru, we cross over. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki